Man, he's a special young man. And, super proud of him. Appreciate you asking that question. And he's doing great. He's undergrad at App State. He's master's at App State. He's not training to be a mechanic. He loves it. Loves cars. Working his tail off. Super proud of him. And it's been an interesting journey as parents. And I think Sarah and I have really invested a lot of time and energy in helping that community here at Virgin Students, not just at NC State, but in the United. It's probably been one of the more cool things in our life. Be a part of that, doing coffee, and these playhouse, two organizations that my wife in particular has spent a lot of time on.
Hey Coach, I'm Tyler 3. I'm a high school football coach. I'm looking to try to break through into college, try to coach college, recruiting, player development. I'm just looking for some advice to continue to keep going and push through.
Getting in at any profession is about making an impact connection-wise with somebody that can help you. When I was a high school coach, I used to go volunteer and work college camps. Spend 3 or 4 weeks of my summer in Oklahoma or Oklahoma State or Nebraska or Kansas State volunteering, staying in dorms with kids and trying to prove myself to some coach that would give me a chance to get in. And eventually it worked. It took me a while, but you got to be willing to do the dirty work to get there. And eventually somebody will step up and help you to do it.
Coach Doeren, you are on pace you're already the winningest coach in NC State history in terms of total wins and all that good stuff, but you're on pace to be the longest tenured coach in terms of total games coached and the winningest in terms of ACC games coached. So for all of the things that, the different feelings or whatever that's been about your tenure, if you were to define your tenure at NC State, what would you say, this is how I define it?
That's a great question. Obviously we've been consistent. I think that's 11 postseasons. Developed a lot of really good football players. Maybe we're ranked very high coming out of high school. I think we're third in the nation in developmental rankings now for 3 stars or less becoming NFL players. I've done it the right way. I have the highest team GPA in school history, the most community service hours in school history. And I hope that they remember the relationships that we've built, in the community and amongst the donor base. But it's been a great ride. There's a lot more left in the tank. A lot of fuel, a lot of hunger, and a lot of goals. So I hope this story's nowhere near the end.
Dave, I know you get a lot of questions about CJ. Just asked him about his relationship and how it's grown with you since he arrived as a freshman and how you trust him a little bit more. He also know that you and Kurt and you guys' relationship, that's the reason he stayed. Can you just touch on the relationship and how it's grown and how much more you trust him than when you first arrived?
Yeah, I think trust is a huge part of being a good player. If you trust your coach, you play differently than if you don't trust your coach. Just like me, I don't want to play a player that I don't trust. And so trust is earned over time. Consistent actions and behaviors by doing what you say you're going to do, being who you say you are, right? I've exhibited those things to CJ. He's done the same to me. And there's just a vulnerable, general relationship we have where we can tell each other anything. And there's no judgment. It's all love, even though sometimes it's tough. But he knows I love him. I know he loves me. He knows I'll fight for him. I know he'll fight for me. There's nothing I wouldn't do for that kid. He knows that. I'm going hard for him. And Roper and I are no different. I've been with Kurt a long time now. I totally respect Kurt Roper. He's been a great position coach. He's been a huge addition as our coordinator. He's done a tremendous job with our staff. And so, he knows I trust him, and there's a relationship there. I tell Kurt something, I know it's going to get done the right way.
Dave, can you address the 5-for-5 legislation and the significance of it?
I'm really happy it happened, first of all. When the first rule change took place to allow kids to play 4 games, it was a great rule. It was pre-portal. It was pre-NIL. It was a rule that was created to allow a freshman that's going to redshirt get a little bit of time in the NFL, so that we could develop them better, right? And they could have a taste, so that when it's time for them to play, they're not freaking out because they've never been in a game. It's a great rule at the time. But when the portal was created and NIL was created, agents started to use those 4 games as leverage to tell kids to transfer and to shut it down, or to tell your coach you deserve more money. That's not what the intent of this rule is. And obviously, I had that happen on our team where a kid was starting and opted to redshirt in the middle of the season. And so the 5 for 5, I think, eliminates a lot of BS that's now created by the old rule. It gives kids the same opportunity to develop over the same period of time. And it helps our rosters because they've changed our rosters too. You know, we used to have 85 scholarships and some of us had 40 walk-ons. And now you only have 105 players. So you have fewer guys to field the team with. So being able to use the entire roster without worry of how many games they play is a nice thing to have from a roster management piece for the teams.
Dave, to go from a team that went, I think, 4-4 in the ACC last year to take that little step to having a winning ACC record, where does that improvement come from?
I mean, it's not beating yourself, like I said in the other room. You know, that happened in the Duke game. There's no doubt about it. And, you know, we got to do a good job of taking advantage of our mental situations in games too. And then it's one possession games, man. You get in these tight games. You know, you look at who wins the conferences. You know, whether it's SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC. Conference champion usually performed 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 6 in one possession games. Okay. Same thing when you go to the Super Bowl teams. In one possession games, they were really elite. And so that's an area we need to be elite. We get into these, you know, 1-score games at the end, 1 minute left. We got to find a way to stop somebody or find a way to score on somebody. Or if we have the lead, not give the ball back, right? And so those are just areas. It's one possession games come down to one player making a play sometimes. So it's those guys coming through in clutch situations.
How do you feel about the new tiebreaker rules that folks talked about this morning? Get the 2 best teams.
I mean, they seem fair. I mean, it's until you get into it and you see all of a sudden how they forgot this little piece, but it seemed like they covered all the bases on it. And, you know, there's a lot of communication and time spent on what the best way is to do it. I totally trust in Jim that they pick the right different criteria to make that as fair as possible.
A lot of schools here have a new coordinator on offense or defense or both. Sometimes the fact that you're bringing back your coordinators from last year, how much of a plus is that in this day and age?
It's nice to have continuity. You know, last year we had 2 new coordinators. This year we have no new coordinators, right? So, you know, there's a language thing with your team. When you have somebody new, it's the same with players. And our players know how to speak the language of our coordinators right now. And that's good. It's really good because I like our systems, and our systems always want to improve. I do like the way they're built and who's leading.
How was that tomahawk steak last night?
That's delicious, man.
I never had one.
Never
of
been to
those.
the Crumpleton?
I don't know if I've got the budget on the expense
You're
account.
going Tuesday night.
Tuesday.
Tomahawk Tuesday.
I did enjoy kind
You
of
like that one, didn't you?
I did enjoy your analogy about it though. Of like the more meat on the bone. I mean, how much is that kind of like a theme for this season?
Not really. I mean, someone asked me, I don't remember when it was after the season, like when they were making up rumors about me retiring, and I was like, man, I got a lot of meat on the bone. Like, I don't even know where that's coming from. From that statement, I guess it's kind of taken off. It's real. You know, I mean, I want to take this program to new heights. As good as we've been, and we've been good. We want to be way better than that.
To open the season with a conference game like you had with UVA, does that add a sense of urgency in the summertime?
Yeah, it does. It does. You know, opening the season against the Power 4 opponent, period, does that. But when it's a conference game, that win is more meaningful. You want to control your own destiny at the end of the day. When you win a conference game to start the season, you put yourself in that seat on day one. If you don't win that game, then you're hoping that team can lose a few more, right? Like, that head-to-head win matters at the end of the year. So you want to take advantage of every one that you can get.
To sort of piggyback off of coaches returning this year, Coach Warren was a new addition last year. What kind of separates him from other coaches that you've had to work with?
Yeah, Charlton's amazing. I mean, his organizational skills, his leadership ability. As you know, he's a veteran of the military, he's a leader of men in battle. And so when he stands in the room with some DBs, like, he can command their presence. He stepped right in when DJ, had to deal with his family situation, and no flinch, took over, total control. He's a pro, man. I really was fortunate to have Charlton on our staff. I think very highly of him as a human being. And in recruiting, he's helped us. We've added some really good players to the back end.
I don't know what it's culture, but just like everything about NIL, is it stabilized a little bit as far as like normalizing guys making money, certain guys making more money in the locker room and everything that comes with it?
I think the fact that we're 4 or 5 years in now, your entire locker room is used to it. Is it normalized? I don't know. Because we really don't know what people make at other schools. Unlike the NFL, where if I said, hey, go get me the running back salaries in the NFL, you could pull it up in 5 minutes, right? You could say, all right, well, I need a 3-string running back. What's that going to cost? You could show me. You can't do that in college football. There's no data points. So we're still operating on misinformation a lot of times, and trying to make decisions fiscally with that information. It's hard. But from a cultural standpoint, players are used to guys getting paid. They're used to guys getting paid less or more. Right? And at first was really hard in the locker room. When it first started, there's a lot of jealousy, there's a lot of comparison going on. And I think now guys have learned, like, if I want more, I got to play more.
And this might be just something I've noticed, but this year's transfers, a lot of them are like maybe 4 or 5 stars out of high school that maybe didn't play a lot of the programs they were in. Is that something you identified as maybe a market inefficiency? Is it just a coincidence? Is there something to
Well,
that?
I think there's both. We've had success with guys like Hollywood was like that, Nolan was like that, right? So we've had success with guys like that were highly ranked high school kids that went somewhere and didn't play. I mean, they weren't good. They just had somebody in front of them that was better. We've also had success with guys like Queen Sloan, Sebastian Harsh, Chandler Zavala, that were guys that were a level below that wanted to move up. So we searched for both. At the end of the day, you're trying to find a guy that fits the need that's in your roster, but also fits the culture of your locker room, right? That has a chip on it and wants to prove himself. And I think in both cases, those guys have chips on their shoulder. 4 or 5 star that wants to reprove that he's that good, or the G5's All-American that wants to show you that he can do it in Power 4. I like those better than the guy that went Power 4 for 3 or 4 years and never played. Right? He's just not good enough. So we're trying to find that guy that's a really good player that has a chip on his shoulder.
Speaking of Power 4, Coach, out of all Power 4 teams in the nation, you guys have the 3rd easiest strength of schedule. How does that motivate you?
I mean, you don't know the strength of schedule until the season. Last year, our strength of schedule was what, preseason. And then at the end, we played more 9 wins than anybody in college. So talk to me at the end of the season.
Dave, what do you remember about Jacarius Speaks this season?
Yeah, I love Jacarius, and I wish him well.
Coach, you mentioned you have a lot of meat left on the bone. What keeps bringing you back?
Winning, man. These players and trying to take this program to new heights.
I know we talked a little earlier about leadership. Talking to some of the players, you talked about that you've hired somebody in that department. They've been doing some training with the guys, giving them some booklets.
I couldn't hear the first
I'm sorry. We talked earlier about leadership and sort of teaching your players. They mentioned that you hired somebody, or there's someone who's been in and talking to them that have books. Is that something new, and why did you think that was necessary for this team, or why did you want to go in that direction?
It's not new, but more and more hands-on. I do like having a third party teaching leadership without me in the room, because I think the guys can be more open and say anything they want to say, and there's not a guy in there that dictates playing time. It allows them to be vulnerable and open about what's really going on and getting help. And with teammates that are pissing them off, but they want to help, and they want to talk about it openly. It's hard to have those conversations with the coaches. And then to have someone that, is professional in teaching it helps. Because he can go to all his training and ask a question, well, how do I address this with a guy when you do this? And he's like, well, here's what I would do, and here's why. So yeah, I've been a part of this. At Morgan Illinois, we had a guy that Dennis Marcino is on part of the business school, and he taught leadership at NIU. So he came in and taught that to our players. He's fortunate here to find Mike Doeren. Mike is doing his job, several guys he's interviewed. Just a great human being. He's earned the trust of the He's teaching a lot of really positive things to them right now. It's been fun to see.
But you've seen an impact already.
You've talked about the Hurricanes and then win the Stanley Cup. Have you got a chance to talk to Rob Brennan more and maybe have that feeling of bringing it back a championship to Raleigh?
Yeah, I look forward to that opportunity. This offseason's been pretty busy. I hope I get that opportunity.
Were you at the parade?
I was watching the parade. Adelaide Gaston sitting in a bar watching. Two of my sons were at the parade. Out there today.
Would it be special to kind of bring that type of, kind of feeling to the state championship?
100%.
Do you have an update on Katron Evans from Marshall? I was just told there was something that needed to be updated. Is there like any injury update, eligibility, anything like that? Or
Okay, so he's been going through the waiver process ever since we got him. So it's in the hands of the NCAA, and fingers crossed.
Gotcha.
He's
Thank
a very
you.
young man, so we're hoping for the best on it. I feel like he has a very legitimate case, but how those decisions are.
Just generally, you talked about how good you guys are at ID 3 stars, kind of developing lower ranked players per se. How do you deal with, over the years, some of those guys getting developed by you?
Yeah, that's frustrating. I mean, it can get you pissed off if you want to. I've kind of changed my way of thinking on it. Different than when I lose a good coach. A person and another person and one team. In some cases, it's an upgrade. So you lose a good player, you go find a better player. That's kind of the approach I take, and like I said, I wish those guys luck. I love every one of them, but I'm not going to talk about guys that don't play for me. I talk about the guys that do.
How does the 5-for-5 change development, change playing time, change the way you treat redshirt freshmen or freshmen that may have redshirted in the past?
I don't have to talk about redshirting.
Right.
In some cases, I just got an email about this the other day. It's 15 to 20 players that just got an additional year on our team if they want it. Good for them. It's good for me if they stay. I'm just glad I don't have to navigate should we play this guy or not in this game. Because there's only 3 snaps left. Those 3 snaps matter. But if you hit a kid 3 snaps, get a kid 2 snaps. Why should that cost him a year? So I'm excited that we don't have to worry about something.
You obviously had a high-profile case of someone deciding to try to preserve it. You won't have that issue anymore.
Do you think there should be some kind of emergency waiver process for like extreme extenuating circumstances?
I mean, I'm sure there's always something, right? But I think they're trying to get rid of that. 5 years is enough. You should be able to graduate in 5 years. You may lose a year or 2 because football's a dangerous sport, man. There's a good chance in 5 years of college football you're going to lose. Hopefully it's a little one. There's a good chance you're going to have one. No idea. I still feel those injuries. I think 5 years is enough. So we'll see.
Will you play guys on like field goal block or that maybe they're a redshirt freshman and it would have been 12 snaps a year or whatever, 25 snaps a year. Now, okay, well, let's get you those reps and maybe save those 25 snaps from somebody.
It depends. I mean, we're not going to sacrifice production.
CJ's talked about how other teams contacted him in the offseason despite the fact that he wasn't in the portal. What does it say about him that he did stay loyal and he didn't really entertain that?
Well, it speaks to his character, first of all, the type of human being that he is and his parents have raised. Secondly, it speaks to our culture that he wanted to stay. That wouldn't have happened. He didn't have the feelings that he has about NC State, about being Coach Roper, and Coach Thunder, and all the other people that he works with on a daily basis. It's sad that that kind of tampering has happened. But it is. We all know it is. And sometimes you get a boast about somebody doing something versus the opposite. And I'm just proud of him. Thank you.
Coach, where have you seen the biggest growth from your team this year?
You know, I think the way we're crossing over offense, defense, and relationships. For guys that don't play football, that may not make any sense, but a lot of teams are offense defense. Not that they don't like each other, but it's not the same. And this team is really interesting. I'll tell you that. It's powerful. You feel it. Walk in the dining hall, you see it. They're sitting together. It's not guys from the same place or the same position or the same side of the ball. It's mixed together. It's really, really fun to see. Can't say that I've seen it maybe one other time, not at this school. I'm pretty proud of that because, man, it's hard. 50 new players to get something like that to happen. CJ's got a lot of credit.
CJ talked about winning the what's it been like seeing him kind of, he's more confident? What's it been like seeing that development in himself?
That's cool, man. Like, from 170 pounds, growing as man, what he is, 220 pounds, mature, experienced, tough, resilient. I love it. That's why I do what I do.
You mentioned the leadership council meeting was every other Friday. Was really helpful in that. What is that like for you to kind of see something like that on the field around the team?
I've always done this. We've always had leadership council. We've always had these type of meetings. This team has embraced that differently. As versus I have to go to this meeting, it's I get to. And that's credit to them. They want to learn to be better leaders. And they're taking the material from the classroom. And that's awesome.